This is Middlesex Moments. I'm Jonathan Darby, interim president of Middlesex Community College, and my guest today is Tom Serra, former principal of Vinyl Tech, former mayor of the city of Middletown, former all kinds of things. What are you doing today?
What am I doing today? What am I doing today? Well, I'm involved in the city government still. I'm the majority leader of the Common Council. This is my third term back on the council after a 10-year hiatus. Prior to that, I was a council person for 6 terms and the mayor for 1 term. Been involved.
So you know where all the skeletons are buried.
I know that as well as all the goodness, because there's a lot of goodness as well. I think that too much negativity in society today, but yes, there is some negative, but there's a lot of positive that individuals do involved in government.
Yeah. Now, you were principal of Vinyl Tech for 6 years?
6 years.
Something like that?
Vice principal for 6 and principal for 6.
And mayor for how long?
1 term, and this is my 9th term as a council person.
What's the main difference in the day-to-day life of a principal as opposed to a mayor?
Well, as you well know, in education, you have evaluative instrument that you, for example, you evaluate your administrators next to you as well as your professors and teachers.
Right.
I did the same thing at Vinyl. I evaluated with a evaluation instrument that was agreed upon, management and labor.
Right.
So therefore, you would apply that after you were trained in it.
So you had about how many staff?
I had about total with part-time about 110.
Okay, and you were responsible for that?
All that, as well as an adult ed classes at night and LPM program as well.
And as a mayor, you wouldn't be doing an evaluation in the same way?
The city of Middletown does not have evaluations. That's the problem. When you have turnover in leadership, which is an election every 2 years,
sure.
Plus the individuals that are mayor and directors are not trained in any instrument, an instrument that has not even been constructed.
Right. Has there been any talk of making the mayor's term 4 years rather than 2?
Yes, I've toyed with that a lot, and we're just talking about evaluation. I think that 4 years is a little too long, that the citizens of Middletown will not be able, their evaluations every 2 years. Every 4 years would be a little long.
Right. But a principal, of course, doesn't run for...
That's correct. So the
major election in the same sense.
The major difference in the frustration was there's no evaluative instrument in it being mayor. There's no evaluation going on in the city of Middletown.
Well, we'll talk some more about that. This is Middlesex Moments. I'm Jonathan Darby. This is Middlesex Moments. I'm Jonathan Darby, interim president of Middlesex Community College. And my guest today is Tom Serra, former principal of Vinyl Tech, former mayor of Middletown, still very active in the Common Council. And we were talking about evaluation of personnel and how there is a system, of course, in schools, in public schools. In the more political arena, perhaps not so. But I'd like to go back to the beginning. You grew up in
Middletown, yes.
In Middletown?
Yes.
So you've been a resident all your life?
All my life, except when I matriculated at Eastern Connecticut State University, and then the University of Connecticut for my master's.
You didn't go to Middlesex Community College?
I did for...
Your brother did?
My brother graduated
Yes.
from here, and he went on to the University of Hartford.
Right.
I have taken 2 Spanish courses here, which were very good at the time that I was... Matter of fact, in your infancy, I took the courses.
Probably in my personal infancy, too.
Cora Rodenheiser was my teacher back then. I took Spanish 3 and Spanish 4, I think it was, or something like that, because I needed to have a language, and I did it coming here after working construction.
So you went to Eastern.
I went to Eastern, but to fulfill my language requirement, I took over 2 summers. I took Spanish 2 or 3 or 3 or 4. I'm not sure exactly what it was.
Any of our listeners who haven't been to Eastern recently should visit the campus. It's absolutely extraordinary. Wonderful building.
It's amazing. It's a great university.
It is.
I started there was Willimantic State Teachers College. Then the next year was Willimantic State College, and then the next year was Eastern Connecticut State College. And in my term there, which I spent 5 years there because I changed my major from basically going pre-law to education, but they changed the name 3 times in that time frame of 5 years.
And then it went from State College to State University, of
correct,
course.
in the 80s.
Right. And now they have a wonderful new president,
yes.
Elsa Nunez.
Elsa Nunez.
And she has not
great.
paid me to say this.
No,
she
no.
really is wonderful.
She is top of the line.
So then you went into teaching.
Yes. Well, I went into teaching because at the time I needed an elective at Eastern, and I was in a kind of a pre-law thing. My roommate and we had planned to go to Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland. He did. He became a lawyer in the Bronx. But I took a course to fill in, and it only fit in. It was philosophy education. I had to teach 2 hours Tuesdays and Thursdays at a parochial school. Simultaneously, I was driving back from Willimantic to Middletown to coach midget football. Needless to say, that I felt great doing those 2 things, and I changed my major. I had to go 1 more year to fulfill all the requirements of education. And then I came back here. I taught at St. Thomas More Prep School for a year, Talon High School for a year, East Hampton Junior High School for a year, and then I came to Vinyl. I spent 30 years at Vinyl.
And then you came home, so to speak.
I came home. I taught and was athletic director and supervisor of adult education, CETA programs, and all that. And then I became the administrator. But in the meantime, when I was a teacher and when I was going to college, I worked construction. I was a union carpenter for 25 years, Local 24. Oh, wow. Frankly, I worked on the broadcast. We rearranged all that when it became
at Middlesex Community
College. Middlesex Community College, and that building, right?
Yeah.
The name of that, right?
From where we're sitting just up the hill.
Right, and we changed it all to make it a broadcast area. We did the ceilings, the acoustical situation, all that. Yes, I did that in the 80s, 86, 85, I think, something like that, during the winter break.
So you get to Vinyl, and you become an assistant principal, and then, of course, you become principal. What's the main difference between your life as an assistant principal and as a principal?
Assistant principal is more direct to various things. You're assigned by the principal, and in that case, it was discipline as well as evaluating over the teachers. But discipline, looking over all the activities. But basically, school.
Now, as when you were assistant principal, go back to those years. What was the single most difficult thing you had to do as an assistant principal?
What was disciplining individuals right across the line, no matter who they are or where they're from. You have to be fair and consistent with you. I believe in education, your presentation is very important. You can child off in 2 seconds, or you can encourage them with the right words and still be constructive, having constructive criticism that's positive.
Did you feel that the parents were helpful to you on the whole? Or?
In this day and age, for educators, parental rights, student rights, teacher rights does put a crink in trying to administrate a school. But I think your presentation of your personality and your applying your expertise can get through that. You can navigate that, and you can be successful in it. We at Vinyl, at the time I took over, we had 379 students. When I left, there was 768.
In the same building?
Same building, and every single statistic improved. We didn't. We were kind of old-fashioned in our application. You have to earn things. There's consequences to things, both positive and negative. And again, it's your application, how you do that.
Now, if you pretty much doubled enrollment, does that mean that the place, people were rattling around, or there was too much space, or
at the time the school was had additions put on, and the 370 wasn't filled. It was maybe 70%, 60%. So we made sure that we did the right things so that the kids wanted to come to Vinyl Technical High School. They added a number of technologies as well there. There's 13 technologies there now, and most of them are computer oriented. Every single
This day and age, of course.
Every single,
Yeah.
for example, you can go to the hairdressing department, and they can actually get your face onto a video and put hairdos that you might like, and the color of your hair, and it's just amazing that they do that, and they can, how you see it on TV now. We were doing that. I've retired. This is my 8th year retired. We were doing that in the late 90s.
Now, typically, why would a young person go to Vinyl Tech, say, rather than the local public school?
It's a misnomer that you cannot go to college from a techno high school. And as a matter of fact, we have...
I'm glad you mentioned that. You absolutely can.
We have an articulation agreement with you, as I understand.
Yep.
Tech Prep, and
Yep.
we've done that a long time. And our students as well, we have AP there as well. Most of the individuals at Vinyl will go to college in their particular area. Some switch off to other things as well. But
But why would they come to Vinyl in the first place instead of Middletown High School?
Have you hired a plumber yet? Have you hired an electrician yet? Have you hired an automotive?
I see my wallet leaving my pocket.
Okay, well, these individuals are goal oriented, and a lot of them, because of their family or their father, brother, or sister, came to Vinyl. But a lot of them had interest, and this it's an interest-based school. I mean, and there's a story I'd like to tell. One, for example, special needs. We have special needs at Vinyl, and sometimes the application of special needs to individuals, I think, is sometimes off base. I'm not talking about the critical needs of individuals. I'm talking about the individuals that are designated special needs, but yet really are not. And let me give you an example. We had a special needs individual, and I would think, I walk around the school a lot. I think you have to, as an administrator, you keep your thumb on things. So I see this individual that has special needs in the academic area. I'm not sure, the academic area we have, at my time it was 3 weeks in the academic area for 9th graders and 12th graders, and 10s and 11s will be in technology.
Yeah.
So in the
by the academic area, you mean English and math, and
everything,
that kind of stuff.
Everything that normal high school gets, and frankly, just about the same time, because there are 7 52-minute periods in a week. So it's almost the same as comprehensive high school. When you get an individual that's designated special needs in the academic area, then he goes, for example, and this is a true story, into the automotive technology. You have your $20,000, $30,000 car there to be fixed. He plugs in the computer under the dash, see what's wrong with your car.
Right.
It's all electronics. He goes back to another computer, sees what parts he needs, he orders them, and he puts them in. And he's special needs. Then he goes to the wheel alignment, all geometry now, and he
absolutely
puts it in. Camber, caster, I learned a lot too myself, and he clicks in, and then he tightens the bolts.
Yep.
And then he goes to the emission control, or she, there's a lot of, and that's all chemistry, and does that. So I'm thinking, how could this person be special needs when he or she is fixing a $20,000, $30,000 car and doing it extremely efficiently?
Doing something that I would have difficulty with.
Correct. So it's an interest-based situation.
Yeah.
Where you have architectural drafts individual that plan their own houses. It's just amazing to see this occur.
The major point you're making is that special needs isn't just special needs. There are a lot of real abilities that people have if they go to the right place and if they get the right teacher and all.
Correct.
And
I call it
good encouragement from home and all of that.
Multi-intelligence.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it.
Predicated on.
This is Middlesex Moments. I'm Jonathan Dowby, and we'll be back momentarily. This is Middlesex Moments. I'm Jonathan Dowby, interim president of Middlesex Community College, and my guest today is Tom Serra, former principal of Vinyl Tech, former mayor, very active in Middletown. Let's talk a bit about what a mayor does. You were mayor for one term, which is 2 years. And I imagine every single day when you walk in the office, you didn't quite know what the day was going to be like.
I used to walk into Vinyl that way. What's the challenge of the day going to be? A mayor is a 24/7 job. You're on call for any emergency within the city, At my time, we had the Yankee Atomic Power Plant, which was the major thing to be worried about
Right.
as we see what's happening in Japan. But that has been dismantled, so we're all set with that. But I had to carry around a big, back it was the middle 90s, a big cell phone, so to speak. It was kind of large, but I carry that around in particular for Yankee Power. You have to be at all kinds of events. You have invitations so that it's hard to go to them all. I was out every night and every day.
And I imagine you get calls at home
Get calls
in
at
a
home
way
as
that
well.
a principal probably wouldn't.
That's correct. And as well, you were scrutinized by everyone in the press as well. And so
Now, even today, you're on the Common Council, leader of the Common Council. How many phone calls would you get at home in a typical week?
4 or 5 a week. It's
That's
not
not too bad.
It's not too
What
bad
about
at
the
all.
email traffic?
Email traffic is just about the same in terms of concerns of citizens and all that. It gets heavier during budget time.
Of course, of course.
So we're in budget time, so we're starting to get more concerns about budget and what's going to happen with the budget and all that. Middletown is in pretty good shape. I really don't like to get political, but Middletown is kind of reversed in the basic philosophy of Republican and Democrat, where Republicans are supposed to be conservative, Democrats are supposed to be tax and spend liberals. It's kind of reversed in Middletown, where we're kind of we have a philosophy, and I in particular have one, is that your budgets are predicated on the economic situation that's presented to you, whether you're Democrat, Republican, Independent. That's how you should.
In
do
other
a
words,
budget.
you shouldn't spend more than you've got in your pocket.
It's a basic equation. I believe
Yep.
that the only person who does that in the United States is Governor Montana. I thought I heard that he doesn't spend whatever he has, he spends, and that's it. So we try to do the same thing. It's difficult, but it has made us very, very solvent in our financial situation. Our bond rating is up there nicely, and we have a nice fund balance. So the council in Middletown has the fiduciary responsibility of the budget.
Now, it must be interesting for you as an educator, because the school budget, of course, comes to you. It's a block grant, I assume. You
Correct.
decide, the Common Council decide how much they're going to get, and then they decide how they're going to spend it.
Yes, the board. Yes, we give them one lump sum, and they have the statutory responsibility to spend it as they deem fit for the education.
I mean,
of
how
kids.
do
have
you
to be
make
compassionate.
as the Common Council, how do you make a decision about budgets when you don't necessarily know what the state budget is going to be, how much you're going to get from the state?
This will be my 20th budget. You have to make the best guess you can relative to what the governor projects, and then you need to talk to. We talk to our delegation frequently. What do you think? What do you think? Where is it going to be for our total grants? So,
In the interests of truth, one member of the delegation
Yes.
happens to be your brother.
Yes, and they've.
So you call him up and ask him what's going on.
That, Senator Doyle as well, and
Of course,
yes,
yeah.
we make sure that we're somewhere in the ballpark, so that we were able to, if in fact we're off a little, we still have our fund balance to cover that if necessary. So it is the most difficult thing in my years in government and politics is the budget, because you want to provide the proper services for your citizenry, but on the other hand, you don't want to tax them too much. So it's a hard balance. Yeah. It's a real hard balance.
Now, as you talk with your brother, he is a state legislator, you are a local leader. Are the issues much the same? Are they different?
It's the same in a sense that there's no revenue flow. For example, we'll be losing next year. We'll be losing Aetna in terms of it's not as big a hit as everyone says. We're losing Aetna because they're tearing it down now. It's only a 27-year-old building. They're tearing it down. We'll be losing approximately, I would say 35% of the tax base there, a little under $2 million. And they bring in like $6.5 million, so something like that. So we have to worry about that next budget. So
is it a biennial budget or an annual?
Annual for
annual.
Biennial,
for the city.
Biannual. It's the biennial is for the state, cities.
So even that gets changed.
Yes, it gets changed in midstream in the year that they're looking at the second year of it. Yes, so they're the same in terms of revenue flow, in terms of the request. We want this, that. And we'll be going into our budget hearing session in April. April 6th, I think 6th, 19th, 20th, 26th is the department hearings where they come in front of us and say, we need X amount to do our services. And then the 26th of April is the public hearing.
About how many employees does the city of Middletown have, town of Middletown?
Approximately, I would say about 600. And the teachers about, same thing, something around there, 1,000 to 1,200, 1,000, something like that.
So it's quite a big operation.
Yes, it is.
So I'm talking with Tom Serra, former principal of Vinyl Tech and political leader in the city of Middletown for many years. What do you do for fun?
Well, I am the president of the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame, where we honor anywhere from 9 to 13 former athletes and former sponsors of athletics and activities. And we honor one team a year, where we have at the Crown Plaza, just like the Chamber Breakfast, anywhere from 500 to 900 individuals come to a induction dinner that's held on last Thursday of January. I have a board of directors there with 12 individuals that are great individuals that work. One of the best organizations I've ever worked with in terms of productivity, and I have a lot of experience with all that. The other way I take care of my time is being involved in the chamber. I'm on the board of directors. I'm on the business education committee. I'm the chairman of that. I'm on the manufacturing committee. I'm on the sports committee.
So you're one of Larry McHugh's people.
Yes. Well, he espouses,
we all are.
He espouses energy, so it's nice to be around Larry. Being I'm sure you'll like this, but being in his 70s, he's like a person in his 30s with the energy that he has.
He's extraordinary. I've never seen a chamber live. Been on various chamber boards. Never seen a chamber quite like it. So there's free publicity we've just given to Larry McHugh. I hope he pays us well for that. Do you have a family?
Yes, I do. I have, of course, a wife who is a former teacher at she taught Talon Middle School, Kegwin Middle School in Middletown, and she ended her career at Cromwell Middle School. She's retired. I have two sons. One is a phys ed health teacher at Middletown High School and head baseball coach named Jason. And my other son is Christopher. He's a phys ed health teacher at Brownstone Intermediate School in Portland. My son Jason has his master's in 6th year as well. And my son Christopher is going for his master's, but he has 2 bachelors, one in phys ed health teaching and one in exercise science.
So if somebody gave you $1 million, how would you spend it? And you have 1 minute or so to tell me all about it. And then the rumor will go around about how you're spending.
My family's frugal. We're moderate. We make sure that the necessities are taken care of, and I instill that in my sons as well. The necessities are first. What I would do is make sure that my family was taken care of, extremely solvent, and then I would look at some charities that I think that would need them, that I know do a good job.
And maybe the foundation at Middlesex Community College would be on your list.
They do a good job as well.
Do you travel at all?
Well, we did before my younger son's accident. We traveled to Hawaii a couple times. We took a couple of trips on cruises, a couple cruises. Went to Sicily, went to Las Vegas, went to Niagara Falls, and went down to, we did between 2003 and 2008. We'll be resuming, since my son is fully recovered from a severe accident, and we'll be resuming our traveling. That's one of the reasons that I really haven't gone back to work, because we've been traveling. But I like challenges, though, however.
Well, I mean, looking at you, and obviously our listeners can't see you, wow, are you fit and healthy? You shouldn't be retired. You should be... Well, you aren't.
That's part of it. I work out 4 times a week, and then we walk on the weekends as well. So I just make sure that...
This is a great town to walk in.
Yes.
This has been Middlesex Moments. My guest has been Tom Serra, former principal of Vinyl Tech, leader in Middletown, former mayor. Take a look at our website, mxcc.comnet, C-O-M-M, two M's, comnet.edu. I'm Jonathan Darby, Interim President of Middlesex Community College. Have a good day.